Hello everyone, Agion here, another Steel Division Normandy 44 replay. Spawned on the bottom side, or I always need to remember to do this, spawned on the left side as the Spearhead Division. We have Theoman 222, or Y. But he's not German, so we won't see any of those scout cars. And over on the right side as the 116th Panzer, Protosszocker, I think, maybe, however you pronounce that. Do have a bit of a defense deployment up north. There is a Panzer III. However, this M1AT gun should be able to handle it. We do got a mortar half track as well as a mechanized force heading down the center, as well as just a basic recon and defensive force down south. On the other side, it's pretty evenly spread out. Recon, command car with autocannon, as well as some AT. Just relatively spread out thanks to all the half tracks across the field. We don't see any massive spam. We do have this assault coming forward. This autocannon could wreak havoc if he was in position. We've got this mortar half track here. No Panzer Grenadiers have been... Oh, wait. Nope. There is a Panzer Grenadier here. So 1 out of 4 Panzer Grenadiers are being deployed out right now. Yes, you heard me right. There's 116 pounds. A lot of... I always forget this, but it only has 4 Panzer Grenadiers for infantry, so you have to really make use of the stop troops. He actually fell back into this half track, which that may have been a misclick. I think he was just trying to back him on out. The half track's currently not moving back, and we do have a bazooka lining on up. There goes the half track. Bazooka fires. We'll get an ammo storage hit, which looks like it removed half the ammo, or whatever available ammo. We've got another bazooka moving forward. It is aligning and fires. Will miss the command vehicle, but a follow-up mortar will, of course, put it in the fallback state. Vehicle controls right now 50-50. Nobody's going moving up. I'm surprised he didn't move up the reconnaissance up there. We do have this half track now running forward, eyeing for a surrender. Will force the spot troops to surrender. Will force the command scout car, the autocannon. The command 234 surrender, and will actually gun down that half track. That is a massive loss. You will reinforce it with a couple more autocannon half tracks, as well as a flame half track as well. No Panzerwerfer. I believe this division can deploy 2 Panzerwerfers, while Panzerlehr can deploy 1 in Battle Phase A. And the closest thing to that is a Nebelwerfer and for the SS Panzer Grenadier in terms of starting artillery. Spot troops are moving forward. It will easily destroy the Recce or the Jeep 30 cal, but we'll actually spot the reconnaissance nice and early. But he will fall it back, even though I see the models right there. There they go. Light to air in the replay, most likely. Do have a Sherman tank coming on forward. 1-star veterancy makes it quite potent, with 5 HE on its main gun makes it extremely potent, as well as having a cannon and armor to withstand pretty much anything the Germans have at this moment in the game. Though there is still the possibility of the Martyr 3, if I remember correctly. It's either Martyr 3 or the Martyr 2 this division gets. Could be the Martyr 1, but they're all pretty much the same. We got a command Stuart now moving up north, which will be quite effective in dealing with a reconnaissance unit such as that. We do have a Panzer III up here, but it's on top of slope, not in a good defensive position because I don't think it can get killed off. Half track will go down to the Panzerfaust. And now we do have these units moving forward. Panzer Grenadiers will take out that rifleman with little trouble. 2 stars of veterancy really does go a long way with Panzer Grenadier. And these half tracks do in fact have 1 HE ammo with 66 rounds of HE. It is quite a bit of ammunition. So the mortar's eyeing to suppress this Panzer Grenadier, but he's actually moving forward. Looks like a cannon managed to take out that half track as well. So all good gains for the Allies over here, good gains for the Axis down here. A lot of autocannons, but these are armored rifles. They do have a bazooka. Gives them quite a bit of advantage with 200-meter range. it's a very effective AT gun, AT weapon to be carrying. We have this reconnaissance unit here, so he's able to spot everything here, so the command steward knows not to go too far forward, else he will be taken out by the Pak 38. Looks like the Panzer IV and the Steward has exchanged some blows up here. Received the bounce on the Steward. And now we do have this command steward now moving forward, engaging the Pak 38. It has no cover at the moment, but yet it's still in a good position, seeing its health base rather than armored base. We do have the mortar half-track getting some good hits on this mechanized force. Sherman tank still has to be careful. While these are autocannon units, at point blank they can have some very nasty effects. Riflemen fired with their Garands on top of the spot troops, which will result to them from getting immediately mowed down by these autocannons. Sherman tank does have nearby leader inspired, having 2 stars of veterancy, making it very lethal. At this range, it will be around 100, well, 80 to 100%. So if he rolls a miss, that is very unlucky. You have mortar half-track here. He may be able to see that AT gun. Yes, he definitely does, in fact, see it. So that mortar half-track will go ahead and start peppering it. German tank starting to move forward. The half-track will be destroyed very far forward. And the Sherman tank will go ahead and engage this 250 as the 250. Both of the half-tracks. Up on north, we do have a reinforcing 232 with that is also a command unit, so we'll have 3 stars of veterancy on this Panzer III, making it very lethally accurate. Well, it only has 1 HP, so it's not super effective versus infantry, so an AT gun is an easily ward against it. Mortar half-track is starting to pepper this Pak 38. It retreats back into this foresty area. Though there is still a small window for it to fire out of, it won't do all too much effect. He can always move it away from the forest area and then reinsert it here or here. Or perhaps even crawl all the way up to here. All the potential possibilities. Panzer Grenadiers will easily force away these armored rifles. We do have a Martyr 3 deployed on out, firing some shots upon this M20 command car. And as well, he also sees the M1 AT gun. It is only in light cover and is being outranged. Reinforcing mechanized infantry coming forward, which should help out in reclaiming some of this area. I mean, there's quite a bit of a bulge here. So maybe just reinforcing this general area. And there goes the Sherman tank, most likely to this command, to this Panzer III, getting a very accurate, lethal, close-range shot. Even though the Sherman tank was more slotted to win out, because both of them at that state would have 2 stars of veterancy. Just the Panzer III has a smaller gun, which makes it able to get the first shot off. That is a massive blow for the Spearhead player, because that was a majority of his force. Now he only has an army leader and a mortar half-track. Nothing to contend with, by the way. The mortar half-track's doing a fast move, not a back away slowly move, in which resulted it from getting killed. This army leader here, he's going to need to bring in some sweeping reinforcements. He is working with a budget deficit. He will have a small lead in battle phase B, but he needs in battle phase C is when he needs to start rolling. But then he'll be also facing against Panthers. You have another Sherman tank coming on up. The Pak 38 is now repositioning. It can be a very lethal spot right now in order to gauge his command steward. though the Recce could go ahead and move forward and gun it down at point blank. Army rifles can't contend whatsoever at long range. They cost 20 points, so the bazooka really does buff up their price quite a bit. Pack 38 is now lining up upon the Stuart. Will get a very close range lethal hit. 1-star veterancy at that range is around 90% accuracy, I would say. But the Recce is engaging. Will kill it before the M21 mortar half-track goes down. Do have the Stuart as well versus the Panzer III. Do have a slight funny business with the hill and the elevation. That's actually, I mean, they should have clear line of sight, but this hill and elevation, let me just go ahead and show you. You can see there's a dip right there. It really messes up the line of sight pools. Both the Panzer III and the 234 are engaging. The Panzer III had the crew knocked out and then made it easy pickings for the Command Stuart. And the autocannon unit could have got a crew knocked out or shooter knocked out. Any of those would be grateful help recover the Panzer III, but it was unable to score said hits. Battle Phase B has been initiated for about 2 minutes now, so we have increased amount of infantry available for the 116th. And we do also have that Command Stuart going down to the Panzer III. However, now the Spearhead player can bring in a Sherman Jumbo, which can be an easy anvil, a very good damage soaking, especially this time part of the game. It only costs us a cheap 200 for 20 armor, making it very resilient. We do have this Sherman out and open, no officer to inspire it. He has to deal with a Panzer III. The autocannon's almost out of ammo, but could chip in a crit when he really does not need it to. Looks like the flame half-track will in fact go down. Ooh, this half-track's going way too far forward. He's going to get the Panzerfaust range. He wasn't aligning, but not in the firing state. Mortar half-track will stun up and pin it down. And with nothing in this region, he will claim quite a bit of ground, but he's still at -1 or +1 for the Axis player. This Command 20 is being collapsed upon in the fallback state. Looks like a Panzerwerfer barrage managed to put it into that state. This massive ground gain is quite important, but is actually at the 50% way mark, really. This is a massive ground gains for the Axis player. You have an AT gun, the Pink Ace, the Elite Pool, Lafayette Pool. Don't know much about him. Really don't know much about any of the guys. The only really I know much about is at the time this is going to be based around Normandy, so it'll be Lieutenant Winters, later on known as Major Winters, maybe even Colonel, I forget. Based because of Band of Brothers. No, not big surprise. Nobody should be surprised about that. Did force surrender on a couple of units there. One of them was half-track, some sort of infantry unit as well. But we do got some AT guns, and it will ward away any advancement in the south for the time being. There is a mortar half-track to help soften up the area, and we do got an M5 AT gun. You get like a 2-star veterancy one at this point in the game, but it wouldn't really matter because there is a lot of guns hitting it, as well as a couple cannons. An autocannon, regular cannon. That was a bit foolish. He needs to get some artillery. This is a very nice congested up area. Calliope could do some wonders. Do got an M3 scout car was carrying this scout. Now the M5 will get run down, will actually get killed off before he even gets to force surrender. He might as well could have put this on a hold fire state just to save some ammo, I guess. We have a Panzer IV as well as another command car. In command pool, he has 2 stars of veterancy, and I would say that Star eventually will even out the playing field against the superior Panzer IV. I would generally say the Panzer IV is superior to the Sherman A1 because you got one more armor but three less armor penetration. Based on that, it's a little bit on the downside. Though the Sherman tank's much better versus infantry with that 50 cal. Sherman Jumbo now out on the field. Now this is a good unit for a Spearhead. It can withstand quite a bit. Ooh, tracks and wheels destroyed, but the Panzer III goes down, only leaving a handful of autocannon rounds, literally just enough to spit at somebody, and a Panzerfaust or two. Not a whole lot. Sherman's still in a good position to provide fire support for any advancing infantry. Here we go, the Jumbo will spot this command car. Not big surprise, it doesn't even inflict any sort of suppression. You have still a significant amount of Axis forces over on the field. You do got quite a bit of forces still here, good forces mounted here, and a very good amount of forces here. Overall, the Axis player is in a very good position at the moment. Not sure how the Allied player can get back in this game. A Calliope would help, but then you also invest into a supply vehicle to help fuel it. You're going to need more armor is always a good option, but he also needs infantry. He doesn't have much infantry. His armored rifles are not that good. They only have Grands and a couple carbines. No actual SMG or LMG. They do come in a half-track, but against a division where it specializes in vehicles, those half-tracks just get sneezed on and die. Did. Do have a supply vehicle. He will go ahead and repair this Sherman tank. Maybe, oh, he managed to sneak in some scouts all the way up here. Oh, but he fired. He actually put in, actually had them, he wasn't hold fire safe, but then he actually canceled it. An oversight. Looks like this half-track will get cleaned up by this reinforcing Panzer III. We do have a bazooka fired, force a fallback and number these units. We got Pioneers here, but they're almost suppressed. We've got a mortar half-track. This half-track here is becoming very problematic. There we go. The half-track's now down. The 232 is now forced to fall back. There's hold, but it only has skeleton force. We have a command car aiding the Sherman Jumbo. He needs something to crack this area. I'm not sure what aircraft he has available. Not a whole lot. Neither side are really eyeing to get aircraft. These armored rifles most likely will be forced to surrender. Though he's actually just staying on the outside. He's actually going to run this guy forward in order to engage the mortar half-track, potentially. Oh, but we do have a Vice. This is a deadly thing to have on the field at the moment. See, there's no other forms of artillery or aircraft to bombard it. The only thing right now that can bring this Spearhead player back in the game is his 150 income. He's lost a significant amount of forces across the field. These guys are going to get quite a bit of a shock. I think at this range, he should be able to be spotted. Yep. Enemy detected. Back away lively. And now he knows there's a lot of stuff there. So an artillery barrage to soften up the area would be great. We do got an army rifle, but they missed with their half-track. He's trying to force a surrender on a supply vehicle. You can capture it, but you can't force a surrender. May want I just to gun it down. Or half-track's almost out of ammo. Luckily the supply vehicle is still in his control, so he can always fall this guy back, bring him to the supply half-track, and rearm and refit it. We've got a reinforcing Sherman 75 of 11 armor, making it very good, especially versus Pack 38, as well as the other ET armor-piercing capable units. M3 scout car. It's not often you actually see this unit that's other than a transport for the couple divisions used as a transport. He has a 50 cal, which can make it very good. Has 2 armor, should easily win out versus 251, but is facing against 2 stars of veterancy. Armored rifles will be spotted and will be quickly suppressed and most likely killed. Martyr 3 is a little bit too close. He needs to back up, use his superior range in order to gauge the Sherman Jumbo. Even then, he won't be able to take it out at max range. He needs to make sure he just softens it up and suppress it. This 251 eyeing to get this GMC will actually capture it and immediately gets it out of the fallback state. He needs actually just to, I would say, run it back home, but there is a number of forces here to re-secure it, but has to try. Maybe he takes this route up here to the Panzerwerfer. His Panzerwerfer needs ammo. He needs to get this truck to the Panzerwerfer. Man pool will be engaging. We'll get tracks and wheels damage on that command vehicle. We'll actually gun it down. We'll engage the Panzer 4H. We'll get a nice lethal shot. At that range, it's a coin toss. With the 2 stars of veterancy, it has a much better response time. It's a 4. Now it just only remains a Pack 40. You can move in, and with 2 stars of veterancy, that 50 cal will quickly suppress it, and not to mention the HE, which once that fires, it will definitely be suppressed. We do have this massive bolt, still +1 in favor of the Axis player. He needs another Sherman Jumbo, I guess, to help push down these lines. Sherman Jumbo has not accomplished all too much. He could force a reaction by pushing the Sherman Jumbo force and have these army rifles as well as the command car on retreat. We do have a Calliope. This is exactly what he needs. Or what he exactly needs right now is to reclaim this supply vehicle. Oh, Ju-87 coming on in will suppress the Sherman tank. We do have a reconnaissance air escort as well. There's only a 50 cal here to suppress it. This Sherman tank was eyed for a strafing run, but he lost vision of it. And since he only has AP, he cannot force fire the ground. These 50 cals do a great job of slowly pressing. I am the Sherman Jumbo, but the Sherman Jumbo does in fact have 10 armor on the side, so it is actually not very vulnerable from that direction. But it is, of course, more vulnerable. We do got the F6 air superiority fire with 4 50 cals. Trying either to suppress it, but he realizes another air superiority fighter. He is a very fast aircraft, but very fragile and gets blown up immediately. 2 stars of veterancy. This guy can be very lethal, very accurate. He's pushed these army LMGs forward, suppress the Pack 40, and then once the Pack 40 starts eyeing it, move the Sherman tank to engage it, and combined force can easily suppress it. Do got a Calliope barrage. It's a large miss, actually. Do have half track with 30 cal engaging it. The Sherman tank really needs to start moving forward. It has quite a bit of suppression at this. It has lost 4 accuracy. We'll need to reposition in order to gauge the Sherman tank. I give it some time. We'll fire the HE round before even the 50 cal. And now it is suppressed and quickly killed. Now this is a huge amount of real estate he can claim. The Sherman tank, little does he know, could easily run forward and kill all this stuff. But of course, he does not know. We have some more reinforcing Sherman tanks. These Panzer 3s have done quite a bit of good amount of work. And the field control is actually, it was at 51% to gain some points. Interesting. Either way, we do have some tickets going for the Allies, but he really needs to get a +2 as soon as possible to make it at least a draw at this rate. His opponent's been at +1 for the majority of the game. IP, it only has 12 rockets left, not a whole lot. We do got a mobile wagon. That is actually a poor choice. He knows he's against a division that is he knows against Spearhead, which means only 3 aircraft slots, and you usually want to put that all in air superiority just to deny any the airborne decks. Or help fight them anyway. It's not exactly even deny. Might be eyeing for another rocket barrage. We'll get a half-track quite saturated, but most likely will not kill it. We might kill it, but he ran out of rockets. Pioneers are may actually run into that recce. Thirsty. Sorry about that. I need to get a bit of a drink. My throat is currently dry. 827 comes on in, destroys the Sherman tank. That is a massive loss in the southern flank. Because guess what's left? An army rifles with one man. One man with a bazooka and his choice of a Grand or a carbine. Now this J-87 is going in for another run. Line hit this other Sherman tank. The J-87 is one of the most lethal anti-tank aircraft. Result having 2 guns gives him basically twice the amount of chance of getting a hit. And how is it moving if it's bailed out? I've seen this before. If it gets both transmission damage and bailed out, it starts going every direction possible. We got 2 air superiority fighters. With losing this first one, he's probably not going to invest in for a second one, but he really needs at least some coverage to ward away those J-87s. You have a pocket here now, not even a bulge, a pocket. This area has been cut off, so he's going to need to bring in some reinforced infantry. It looks like this half-track note will not. And that armored rifles will in fact go down to a lot of firepower, but he may have actually got a bazooka shot off because this guy is currently suppressed. The Panzer III in the center has gone down to the Sherman and Sherman Jumbo, which results only leaving a single Panzer Grenadier, literally one man left to order defend that entire area. Not going to happen at this rate. Panzer Grenadier's out of Panzerfaust when he really does need it. His 30 cal will slowly suppress him. And one last guy realized he's all alone, so he decides to surrender. I can see that, quite reasonable. If you have a bunch of machine guns and people are shooting at you, yeah, that's quite reasonable. Pool has been in fact hit by that Panzer Warfare barrage. Mortar 3 eyeing to get the first shot off. No, actually, the veterancy of the command pool who actually did quite a bit of work. Mortar 3 will get a second shot off, forcing the fallback state on the Sherman tank, which is very problematic. And we do got another Ju-27 coming on in. That is a dead Sherman tank. Panzer Grenadiers will be aligning their Panzerfaust, which will result in the death of the half-track that was providing a huge pocket. However, we do got Sherman Jumbo as well as supporting half-track, as well even the Calliope. Not sure how he spotted that guy. Did he? Must have been these guys over here somehow spotting him. This Sherman tank's still dancing around even though it's bailed out. That Panzer III goes down, even at that range, has a very poor, no chance I believe actually, in order to get a penetrating hit. Sweeping grounds have been gained, but yet the Axis player is still at +1 with 10 minutes remaining. The Spearhead player needs to make a breakthrough. There goes the Martyr 3, only leaving command vehicle, engine destroyed. We do got reinforcing GMC. He's eyeing just to put the Calliope on as a tank roll, which I can see that being quite reasonable at the moment because by the time it reloads, probably will be end of the game. Border half-track leading the advance, I guess. He has not been reloading his guys, but he's been using at least still the 50 cal. He's almost out of 50 cal ammo, actually. wonder if this is decent, because this clearly says bailed out, but yet it's clearly still moving. All those 50 cals will do quite a bit of work to ward away units. We do got a Veteran C2 M5 AT gun. Luckily, there's a nearby Sherman to support, prevent it from going down. As a Warfare Barrage comes on in, we'll kill off the M20. The Sherman Jumbo is receiving quite a bit of suppression, enough to make it force to fall back for quite some time. But there is still this Sherman Jumbo here. At 53%, have +1 income, still not enough to make it a victory or draw. He needs to get a +2, if not a +3 at this point in the game. Mobile Wagen, Panzer Warfare Vice, nothing here to prevent armor. This allied armor will start pushing their way through. However, there is a reinforcing Panther, a Panther G with its base accuracy 7, making it very accurate. It's usually the standard accuracy 6, but this guy has a 7. This Grenadier still become problematic. We have a couple M3s here with 30 cals to suppress it. Needs to bring in some armor down south. There is a Pack 40. So you probably need to bring a Sherman Jumbo to deal with it, but I know we see 2. Not sure if he has lost or deployed a 3rd yet. Sherman tank engaging the Panther G, but that is not ideal in that current situation. No rockets here for the Calliope to suppress and hurt the Panther. Panther really does not like that M15 at the moment. It's just poking away at it with its 37 autocannon. Sherman Jumbo eyeing to hit a flanking shot. The Panther G only has 6 side armor, which means it's very vulnerable to anything inside. Though this half-track will of course spot it and will result it being killed from it. J27 coming in for a straight run. The M15 has been back suppressed. It looks like it's lost its line of targeting. Down south, just only armored rifles. Looks like the half-track tried to move in, but was forced to surrender. Another M5 AT gun. Openwagen doing great amount of suppression on the Calliope, and now we do got the Sherman Jumbo engaging at point blank onto the Panther G. Rolls a bounce in return. Crew knocked out. That is a massive score. He can bring in this bazooka, get a nice flanking shot. I don't think the Sherman Jumbo is even at this range quite reliable against the Panther, but oh, and there goes the Sherman Jumbo. When I say reliable, I mean the Panther's still in a better position, and we got whacked tracks and wheels damage by the 76. You got J7 in order to engage it, but there's enough AA in the area to ward it away. As a Warfare Barrage, point pretty much a close range barrage will kill off the M5 AT gun. And do got these units collapsing upon, but still not +2. He only has a +1. At this point in the game, he needs a +3, if not a +4, in order to win the game. You have this pocket of units getting surrounded and gunned down. Panther G actually gets shot to death, not surrendered. You have a Command Panzer IV as well as a Martyr 3 for defense up north. Down south, there's still this massive bulge. It needs to bring in a lot of units in order to turn that around. Starting to get the bulge, but at +2, that's still not enough. He needs a +3. But there's not much. There's a whole bunch of real estate right now. Free real estate. Bring in Sherman tanks, but this pack will become very problematic. It is in a very good position, though it will not see it advance. And actually, this not able to cover the road right here is extremely problematic. Because now, when he gets up here, he can bring in this main gun in order to counteract it. It'd be still 50-50 chance whether the Pack 4 can take it out or not. Do have this Sherman tank now at the bailed out state as well. He got the +3. That is enough for a tied game. Can he get the +4 or maintain the +3? More importantly, you got autocannons now moving forward. You got this Sherman tank now picking away against these frontal units. Army rifles can go forward and spot pretty much. Now you got the Pack 40 ready to engage. But it's actually hitting this M15 up here, so he knows it's there. Sherman tank may be firing upon it. Oh, he's hitting a half track. But the JW7 is coming in to reinforce and to strafe it to death. You're wounded. He really needs that 50 cal at the moment to help ward away because there's nothing in the area to stop it. No AA unit whatsoever. He may be just eyeing for the +3. He may not even try to go for a +4 or +5 for the win. There is a lot of free real estate. 7 Panzer 4 will go down to the bazooka. 2 JU7s will finally kill off the Sherman tank, and now you got these autocannons units running forward, claim as much real estate as possible. There is a 76 in the area. JU7s are going to hit the side and rear armor of these Sherman tanks, resulting in very, very little resistance. But we do got AA units in the air, as well as 50 cals softening up, reducing the accuracy. And these 2 JU7s will not claim any more kills, and most likely the last sortie for them for the game. These autocannons are trying to claim his real estate, but he will not like what he finds. But at this range, even the 76 may actually be taken out. He needs to start to stop and fire. Both sides need to stop and fire. He has this rear armor. Rear armor has armor 5, so actually getting away farther is actually preferable, I guess. But one of the autocannon units will go down. This one will be forced to surrender shortly. And massive grounds have been gained. He has reached the +4, but it is not enough to win the game. Panzerfaust will come through. Engine destroyed on Sherman 76. Army rifles will fire off a bazooka. Fire. Will roll a miss, and that was the last bazooka shot. The war will force surrender on that unit. And somehow the Sherman 76 lived for that. You get this Pack 40, as well as Panzerfaust's transmission is damaged. He needs to put an attack move right now. Panzerfaust will come through forward. It looks like transmission and tracks of wheels are damaged, so most likely that guy will be dead. But there's some reinforcing infantry, and he actually claimed enough ground to get the +5. This entire area has been collapsed. It is possible to get the +6, but I don't think for 1 minute of +6, I don't think that even is enough to even win the game. So this game is cementedly in the tie. If you were to collapse this bulge, that would be great. It is a command unit, so collapsing it means killing him. And this game's pretty much over. I'm just going to fast forward. Let's see if he gets to +6. Spalling crew, there you go. That guy goes down. 3, 2, 1. He will almost actually straight up won. If he would have got the +6, you needed what, 250 to get above to win? If he would have just had 22 more points, a +6 could have actually made him win the game. That's what he only needed, 26 more tickets. By the way, a very good game from both players. A very good comeback by the Spearhead player. Let's go ahead and just take a quick look at the kill tab. The Sherman tank will cut off a lot of half tracks. Army rifles will claim a couple half tracks themselves. That's quite good. A lot of half tracks and AT gun. Command pool will claim a Pack 40 and Panzer 4. Very reasonable. From Jumbo Panzer excuse me, Panzer 3, Sherman Jumbo, Panzer 3, and vice. 76 will claim the Panther, the Panzerwerfer, and some other stuff. Very nice. And nothing too crazy, just something more reasonable along the lines. Over here, half tracks, tanks, tanks. Nothing too crazy either. By the way, this is Agion saying thank you for watching and signing off.